Today, we're going to be looking over a player that many consider the best tight end in America, Nebraska commit Carter Nelson. And we'll look over his high school film along with his Polynesian Bowl and American Bowl performances and decide between the good, the bad, but most importantly, the stuff that we are super excited to see for the next 3 or 4 years in Scarlet and Cream. So real quick, if you like the content, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps me out, along with subscribing to the channel if you have not already. If you don't want to miss out on any more Nebraska videos this offseason, we made 30 Husker videos throughout the month of January, and we're only getting started. So please hit that subscribe button. But let's start it off talking about Carter Nelson. All right, let's start it off with Carter Nelson's Polynesian Bowl performance. So he played in Hawaii about 2 weeks ago with the nation's best in a bowl game, and I pulled every single rep from that game, and let's look over it right now. And we are watching this at half speed just so we can decipher the play a little better. It goes pretty quick. So right there, Carter Nelson. Watch out for number 5, streaks across the middle of the field in zone coverage. Dylan in at quarterback, by the way. It just doesn't see him. One progression play, but yeah, Carter Nelson wide open. And it should be noted, this is the first time I've seen this as well. And Carter Nelson, this is one of his only experiences playing 11-man football. This is one of my only cons about Carter Nelson is that he's from Ainsworth, a small town, Nebraska. He plays 8-man football, which we'll see later down the road when we look over his high school film. But this is one of his only few games actually playing 11-man football. Right there, left-hand side of the quarterback in the slots. And this is a beautiful pitch and catch to Carter Nelson. Great loft ball there by Raiola. And Carter Nelson just does a great job finding a gap in the zone coverage, going up and get it. Again, we'll give that a second look. Just high point that football. Really didn't even need to jump for it if we're being honest, but nice play there by Carter. So right here, they put him on a little bit of motion in the run game. Nice job to fill that gap. And that's something else I'm going to be watching throughout this film is, does Carter Nelson have the ability to fill gaps in the run game? Does he have the ability to lower his shoulder and really make an impact? Because he is kind of a skinny guy. Does absolutely need to put weight on him when he gets to Lincoln. So different quarterback in on this play to Carter Nelson. Just barely got it there. Again, nice job by Carter Nelson to step up on that play in zone coverage. Another zone coverage. They try to, oh, he was wide open. So they try to get it to the guy running what looks like a post. But Carter Nelson, once again, watch my cursor, wide open across the middle of the field. I mean, he's been open on about every single one of these plays early on. Not sure what happened on that one. So once again, they're kind of in the slot at that tight end spot. Not sure the end result of that play, but again, Carter Nelson right here where my cursor is on basically on a dig route. Again, quarterback just doesn't see him. And it should be noted that the quarterback play in the Polynesian Bowl was downright horrendous. I talked about it in my Dylan Raiola Polynesian Bowl film breakdown. If you haven't watched that, check the link in the description. But the other quarterbacks in there besides Dylan Raiola, they combined for 6 total interceptions. It was a not great performance. So again, Carter Nelson there in the flat. Quarterback just doesn't see him again. Waiting. That's Raiola, by the way. And the man, another drop by the receiver. Okay, if this is your, and I talked about this in the Dylan Raiola video. Dylan Raiola has got to get this ball to Carter Nelson right here, wide open the flat. But Dylan's trying to make a play. He waits, then throws cross body. That's a tough throw and just a drop. That's a play where Dylan needs to get to Carter because he's wide open. Another play by Carter inside. And quarterback just doesn't see him. But I'm loving his ability to just get open, find gaps in the zone. He has good footwork down the field. Haven't seen too much of him in the run game. Okay, there's Carter Nelson in the pass pro. He's holding up there in double team. So a little triple option swing pass over to Carter Nelson to get the first time. I love that play concept, by the way. That's a creative play concept. You don't really see that in these little bowl games. Mike Zimmer, I believe, was the coach for this game. So that was a nice little play concept. And Carter Nelson has that run after catch ability. We saw he played running back at his high school. I mean, he can lower his shoulder and make a move on a guy if needed. So one more play here from the Polynesian Bowl. Once again at that tight end spot. consistent zone coverage this entire game, and they just miss him once again. So that was his Polynesian Bowl. Let's go over some of his clips from the All-American game real quick. All right, let's quickly look over it. Carter Nelson really didn't make too many plays in the All-American game. Again, the way these bowl games work, you get subbed out a lot, so many people get a lot of reps. So he only had one catch. We're going to watch this at full speed. But it was a nice play. I believe it's the second clip here on this montage. Yep, so this is it right here. So you put Carter Nelson on a quick out route, run after a catch, breaks the tackle, keeps fighting. And look at that. Only about a 10-yard gain turned into about a 20-yard gain, and that's what Carter Nelson brings to Nebraska football. So, again, not too much performance there in that All-American game. Not a deal breaker at all. We see it all the time for Nebraska commits. Nothing to be worried about. So that was his bowl game performances. Now let's go over his high school highlights. All right, let's go over his Ainsworth film, senior year of high school. Credit to the Big Ten Junkies on YouTube for putting this compilation together, but let's start it off. And you see it there on the screen, 6'5", 225. I like to see if Carter Nelson can get up to about that 240 mark by the time he starts getting playing time at Nebraska. So a quick little out route, nice play to stay in bounds. Truck. Again, that's just grown man football. And something you're going to see in this highlight reel, again, this is 8-man football. He plays quarterback, he plays running back, and he plays wide receiver along with linebacker. I think he compiled over 150 tackles for Ainsworth this year, which is absolutely nuts. But the problem with this film already is nothing that he could control. It's just the fact that you're playing a bunch of guys who are never going to play football again. This is lower division Nebraska high school football there in the Western Plains, right? So guys who really aren't even going to play football at any level going forward. He really doesn't have experience against top talent. So that's something that you're going to want to keep in the back of your mind going forward. Again, if you have trouble picking him out, just look for the 6'5" guy. There's not too many guys like him on the field. Another quick out route. They're in the white at that safety spot. They just throw a jump ball. Oh, why would you do that with Carter Nelson around? Nice job high pointing that football to go down with it. So it looks like he's there at quarterback. Basically a design keeper rolling to the left. Let's see the speed, man. Around the outside, yep. All the way home, number 22. Makes it look easy. And he's not the fastest guy in the world. I mean, we're talking about a guy who runs about a 4.6, 4.7, which is pretty good speed for a tight end. Do not get me wrong. But again, give him open field, and he is gone. Another pick there. I don't understand what this quarterback is doing on the other team. Do not throw in Carter Nelson's direction. Again, nice job. Run after the catch. And he's gone once again. This is just a grown man on the same playing field as young men, as boys. So they're at that wide receiver X. Again, quick out route. Nice play. Again, he does have some nice footwork on that frame. That's something we can take away from this film. We've seen that little out route time and time again. He has some nice burst. Something that you're absolutely not going to have to worry about when he gets to Lincoln. He does have that ability instantly. Man, great acceleration. He's not playing defense for Nebraska, but nice job to read the quarterback there. Get that ball out. Quick in. Oh my goodness, what a play concept. Tell me he takes it all the way. Oh, I love that. A little hook and ladder. That's awesome, man. So something I want to see on this film, and I'm not sure if we get it, is his ability to go up and get jump balls. We've already seen a couple of that, but with that 6'5" frame, you definitely want to make sure of it. I don't know how much we'll see of that, given the quarterback play probably isn't very good for Ainsworth. Again, there's not too much we can take away from this high school film. Just complete domination. Again, nice run after the catch there. Breaks tackle, breaks another one, stays in. Oh my goodness, walks to the end zone. I mean, it's almost unfair. And I'll say this about Carter Nelson real quick, is that he's one of those examples that I just wish we could have saw play Class A football or even Class B football, because it's a darn shame that he was going up against guys in Class D football and just, manhandling them like we just saw. It would have been nice to see him play real competition and see what he could have done. From a pure evaluation standpoint, it's very hard to look at just high school football, especially in these lower levels where you're not playing anybody that particularly great. Again, well, what really can be said about that? So I'm hoping for a fade here to the end zone there at that wide receiver X spot. Look at the score, 62-0. Yep, we're gonna get it. Come on, now, touchdown. Nice job to keep those feet in bounds. That was crazy, actually, to go down and get two feet down, man. All right, we're going to skip our way because this is 60-0. This is a blowout. You're not playing a very good team here. Let's see if we can find a better one. All right. Nice little jet sweep. Get to the outside. Speed does the rest. Nice. All right, so I feel like, again, a lot of this is just going to be more of the same. Let's get into my takes and analysis of what we saw over 4-star Nebraska commit Carter Nelson. All right, let's start it off with my pros. What were the good things that we saw from his film? The things you can't teach. 6'5", great burst, really good speed for his frame. Does a good job high-pointing the football when the ball's thrown up to him. Good route running. We saw that out route time and time again. But the thing that impressed me the most from Carter Nelson's film was that run after catch ability, the ability to make a move on defender, put his head down, truck a couple guys, break a tackle, to have that grit, just to fight for an extra couple yards. And you've seen that throughout a couple other Nebraska commits film. And I know Matt Rhule loves that ability in his guys, just to keep going, to keep those legs churning and go for that extra yard. So I was really proud of that from Carter Nelson. Again, really good game in the Polynesian Bowl. The quarterback play was not awesome. Again, the American game wasn't as good. You wouldn't really expect it to be as good. You're playing against 4 stars, 5 stars, and he didn't really get too many reps, so nothing that he can control. Now, as for the cons, again, things that he can't control, like who he played. You're not playing very good talent. It's hard to evaluate that. If you are a 3-star or better, you're going to dominate in Class D football. It's just the way it is. So it's really hard to evaluate him from a pure talent standpoint or pure production standpoint. We can just take away some of the traits that we saw there on the field. The one thing I will say about Carter Nelson is that I don't expect him to play as a true freshman. Certainly not at that traditional tight end spot. He's just too skinny. It's at 225. He was 210 last summer. He's a guy who I think needs to be about 240, 245 in order to play. And I was actually digging into it. The last time a true freshman tight end played at Nebraska was Ethan Carter over a decade ago. And the reason he did was because he got onto campus at 250, right? So Carter Nelson absolutely needs to put some more weight on him. But other than that, man, he looks really good. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Cornhuskers end up putting him at that wide receiver spot, maybe put him in the slot just to get him going. But other than that, he probably needs to transition a little bit to 11-man football. It takes some time to get used to, but I was really impressed with his performance throughout the Polynesian Bowl, so I don't think that'll be a problem at all. But, man, really impressive stuff from Carter Nelson. Now, my overall takes, is he a top 100 player? I believe he is, just from a pure talent perspective. The production obviously backs it up when you're playing not very good talent, but he is a guy that I expect will probably take 1 or 2 years to develop. So don't expect him to play right away. But nonetheless, when he does in fact play, I take him to be one of the best Big Ten tight ends, in the conference in general, maybe even in the country. So I'm really stoked about him. It's just a matter of putting weight on that frame and getting him going. So really good stuff there from Carter Nelson. Let me know what you think about him down below. Who do you want to see next in this film series? We're rattling them off throughout this offseason. But as always, folks, subscribe to the channel, like the content, and go Big Red, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.